everyone, welcome back to the Kasana Health channel, the best health information channel for anyone with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. It's no secret that living with diabetes comes with many challenges. It often feels like every little thing you do is under scrutiny. How many carbs did you eat? How many calories? Did you eat saturated fats? What about cholesterol? What about your metabolism? How many steps did you take today? What's your weight? Everything seems to have an influence or an opinion. The problem is sometimes we get so caught up in the details that we forget the basic guidelines that could possibly have a major positive impact if we just started there. As a pharmacist with a passion for diabetes education, I've become very attuned to the most common mistakes I see people with diabetes make. So today I'm going to share what these top 5 mistakes are so that I can help you avoid them. Before we dive in, let me know in the comments below what mistakes you think you've made at any point in your diabetes journey. And if you like my content, please let me know by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. Mistake number 1, focusing on weight loss. But Sarah, what do you mean? My doctor told me I had to lose weight if I wanted to improve my A1C and all my other lab results. I know, most people with prediabetes or type 2 have been given that advice. It's almost like it's the end-all advice that's going to solve all their problems. I'm not trying to blame you or your doctor for wanting to lose weight. The intention behind this advice isn't bad, but it's too simplistic. It overlooks the important things because it makes you almost forget that you have more urgent things to address, your prediabetes or your type 2 diabetes. What I mean is you don't have to focus on a number like your weight to achieve better health. Let me tell you why. Because 1, you can lose weight and still have blood sugar levels that are off the charts. Because 2, not everyone with prediabetes or type 2 is overweight. Or you can have a normal weight or BMI, body mass index, and still develop diabetes complications. And 3, also because the world of weight loss is full of confusing messaging about what your body should look like, and that has a tendency to lead to a very unhealthy mindset around nutrition and exercise. Let's face it, weight loss is hard. And so it has a massive psychological impact on people who embark on that journey. And the weight loss industry takes advantage of that all the time. That's how they convince millions of people to pay insane amounts of money for, this magical supplement or that magical slimming tea, which, by the way, don't work and don't make you any healthier. It's all a big load of BS and causes more harm than benefits. Other than being hard, weight loss is also something that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. So it can make people feel sometimes like a failure because they haven't yet reached a specific weight or body type that they had in mind. I'm not saying that everyone who wants to achieve weight loss ends up with that negative mindset, but unfortunately there's a high risk for people to fall down that path, which is why I believe that it's a mistake to focus on just weight loss instead of focusing on things that have a direct link with your actual or current health. The reality is, the majority of the time, we can't control the number on the scale. Did you know that your weight can easily fluctuate plus or minus 10 pounds every day? Yep, it varies depending on the time of day you weigh yourself, what you just ate or what drank, or whether or not you've been to the bathroom that day. So why obsess over a number that doesn't truly reflect anything about your health, your energy level, or your blood sugar levels? Tracking your weight isn't inherently bad if it's something that you can simply do that helps you stay on track and you really don't have a negative mindset around it. Cool in that case. But if the number you see upsets you or triggers any negative thoughts, judgment, shame, or blame, please forget it. So what should you focus on instead? Well, I'm glad you asked. There are so many things to track other than your weight, like your blood sugar levels, or even simpler, focus on your energy levels. How do you feel after you eat this kind of food? How do you feel before or after you walk for 30 minutes? Or how do you feel after a good or a bad night of sleep? And then from those answers you're tracking, you can then analyze your results and adjust what you're doing to feel better the next time you eat, or the next time you decide to exercise, or the next time you go to bed. The same thing applies if you start tracking your blood sugar levels, which is something that I do recommend. Once you look at your results, you can also then start to make adjustments for your next meal, for example, and see if a certain change of food can lead to a result that's more in target for you. And when you do, you get a win. You get the immediate satisfaction of knowing right away that this change that you just made had a positive impact. And that win will give you the motivation to keep making more adjustments and to keep getting more wins. Tracking your blood sugar or your energy level is way more representative of your progress and your health than tracking your weight is. It gives you insight as to what to do next. And the good news is, if you're someone who does want to lose weight, it will lead you to weight loss down the road. As I always like to say, let weight loss be the happy side effect of all the positive behaviors and mindset you create around your new lifestyle habits. Mistake number 2, not checking your blood sugar enough. Okay, so I kind of already mentioned that one in my previous points, but I see this too often. A lot of people don't track their blood sugar because they hate pricking their finger or they don't see the value of it. And sometimes the only reason they might do it is to show the results to their doctor or someone in their diabetes care team, just because they ask them to. But they don't really look at the number and try to understand it. Which is really too bad, because checking your blood sugar levels gives you a sneak peek at what's happening inside your own body, under your own skin. I always encourage people to genuinely be curious, to become a detective of their own blood sugar levels. Keeping track of your blood sugar in relation to what you just ate or in relation to how or when you exercise will help you understand why your results are high or low. And then you can make adjustments to your eating and your lifestyle habits. And when you show these results to your diabetes care team, they can better help you adjust your treatment plan if needed. A tip that I have for you is to use a logbook to track your blood sugar levels and the foods you eat. The more information you can include in that logbook, the better. So drinks, water consumption, hours of sleep, energy level, all of these will help you make changes that work for your body. I'm going to include a link below this video to a great logbook, one that I designed, by the way. That way you'll be able to order it on Amazon wherever you are in the world. Mistake number 3, avoiding doctor checkups. Even if you feel good or if you're managing your blood sugar levels well, seeing your healthcare team regularly is an essential part of your diabetes treatment. Your doctor needs to regularly follow up on all the things that aren't visible to the naked eye, or the things that you can't track yourself. Your symptoms, your A1C, your kidney and liver functions, your blood pressure, your cholesterol. Getting these regular checkups at least once a year is essential, and it's the best way to adjust your treatment plan or catch diabetes-related complications early on. My top tips to help you avoid this mistake is to find a doctor or a healthcare provider or even a diabetes educator that takes time to talk and listen to you. Someone that values lifestyle habit change just as much as medication, or even more than medications for that matter. In other words, find someone that empowers you to take control of your health, not someone who tells you to only rely on medications for your health. Mistake number 4, being in denial. What I mean by this is, if you're taking all your medications as prescribed by your doctor, please don't think that it means that your diabetes is fixed. I hear this a lot from patients that I speak with at work. As a pharmacist, part of my job includes giving advice about over-the-counter medications. What often happens is, before I suggest anything, I always ask the person if they have any health conditions. And a lot of people say, no, they don't. Then I actually suggest something, a medication over the counter, and that's when they turn around and say, but can I take this if I also take metformin or, insert any other diabetes medication? And I'm like, but I just asked you. Anyway, all this to say, pills simply help you lower your blood sugar and reduce your symptoms. Taking medication for diabetes does not cure you from diabetes. Taking medication also doesn't mean that you can go on to live your life without making lifestyle changes. Actually, all the medications for diabetes won't be nearly as effective if you're not also making lifestyle changes at the same time. And by the way, that's something that's also written on all the drug monographs. The little pamphlet that's neatly folded and stuck to your bottle. But when you unfold it, it's this huge piece of paper with tiny writing all over it. That's what a drug monograph is. All pharmaceutical companies will include this on the drug information sheets. This drug is used along with diet and exercise to improve control of blood sugar in adults with diabetes. Does that surprise you? Have a look for yourself and let me know in the comments below what you find on your drugs. Here are my top tips to help you avoid this mistake of being in denial. Number 1, know that diabetes can be reversed through lifestyle habit change. It's a fact. There are many studies that demonstrate that. Whether you take medication or not, lifestyle changes are the key to defeating diabetes. Number 2, being in denial is often the result of not wanting to acknowledge the negative impact of such a diagnosis. So my advice here is to try not to view your diagnosis of diabetes as something negative. I know it's easier said than done, but the people that I see succeeding the most at reversing this thing are the ones that view it as a wake-up call, as something that they're almost grateful for. that kind of positive mindset is the best way to take control of your health and learn how your body works. So be curious, become a detective of your own inner functioning. And that's how you develop the best tools and strategies to deal with all the challenges of diabetes. But first, you have to be aware of it and not ignore it simply because you're taking the pills that your doctor prescribed. Mistake number 5, saying I am diabetic. There's great debate about this one, but for me, the bottom line is you're not a disease, you have a disease. So instead of saying I am diabetic, say I have diabetes. Just like it makes sense that we don't say that a person who has cancer is canceratic. So why should you say that you are diabetic? You are not defined by your disease, you are more than a disease. If anything, on a subconscious level, you're changing your identity. And when you change your identity to being diabetic, it's much harder to get rid of it. Because think about it. It's much easier to get rid of something we have than to get rid of something we are. I'll repeat this again, let it sink in. It's much easier to get rid of something we have than to get rid of something we are. Ultimately, that's what I wish for every one of you, to get rid of diabetes or to defeat it or to decrease the negative burden of it for the rest of your life. So what are my tips to help you avoid that mistake? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Say I have diabetes instead of saying I am diabetic. Even if you don't feel like it bothers you at the moment, don't allow your subconscious to redefine who you are or change your identity. It might seem silly for some of you, but believe me, the way we define ourselves goes hand in hand with our behavior and our subconscious decision-making around food, exercise, and all the other lifestyle choices we make on a daily basis. So think about it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope this video helped you put in perspective the things that you thought were mistakes. People often think eating a piece of dessert once is a mistake, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not. It's a learning experience, or it can be. What you did in the past doesn't define what you will do in the future. These 5 things that I just mentioned in this video are what I consider mistakes because they have a long-term consequence on your health. So my advice is start by eliminating these 5 mistakes from your life and watch how your health can drastically improve. If you agree with me, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it. And if you subscribe and hit the little bell icon, I would be ever so grateful to you. Thanks so much for watching. Stay healthy, stay safe. I will see you in the next video. Mistake number 3. Tree? My top tips. Tips.